Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Test Drive. I just wanted to thank every single one of you for all your support. In the last video, it was amazing to see everybody like this series. I really enjoyed doing it, so we're going to do more of it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what we'll be driving today. So as you can see, we will be driving the 1999 Dodge Viper GTS ACR. This thing is pretty awesome looking. This is the car that most kids growing up in the 90s had posters on their wall of this exact car. This thing is pretty cool, so I haven't had the chance to drive it yet. I don't know how powerful it is. I don't know how it's going to handle, but we're going to figure all that as we go. So one thing, I saw some comments from the last episode, and a lot of people were having trouble seeing the speedometer. I went ahead and downloaded and installed the speedometer. The link to that will be in the description, along with this car. And briefly, let's just go over, I went ahead and I downloaded a car pack that has 25 vehicles in it. So I figured, if you want to give a suggestion, there were so many suggestions on the last episode, it was hard to keep track of how many there were. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this 25 car pack installed, and go ahead and check out that link. It'll show all the cars in there, and pick from one of those 25 cars in there that you would like me to review. Not really review, but to put on test drive and to drive around and see how they are. I figured that way it would be a little bit easier. Then we can kind of get through a couple episodes, you know, not 25 of them, but we can get through a good amount of them. Then we can switch up cars and start changing it up. But that car pack is very nice. It's linked in the description, so if you want to see another car, preferably one in that car pack, just leave it in the comments. So a lot of people couldn't see the speedometer, so I got one, and I turned the map off. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave traffic on and everything. I'm going to drive a little more legit, so I'm going to work my way from here to Banham Canyon, where we'll shut down the road. We'll rip this car on that road, see how it handles. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started, work our way down to the first level. So I have decided to change up the series a little bit. A couple changes that I've learned while in the process of making the first episode. One thing people did realize was when I do the timed laps on the track at the airport, that the lap 2 wouldn't really work because I have a run-up. That makes a lot of sense. In the time, I didn't really think about that. So we'll do 2 laps. They both will be from a dead stop, so it'll be more even. Also, I decided that I am not going to drive any of the cars until I start recording. So I've only ever driven this car at very slow speeds, at the speeds you're seeing now, pretty much just crawling. I haven't really got on it crazily. So that way, when I get into a brand new car and we go out and we drive it, my impression of it will be the first impression that we get when we drive. So that way it's not going to be something where I've driven it a lot and then have to record and see how it feels. So it's going to be the other way around. I don't know how this car is going to handle. I don't know how fast it's going to be, but what we're going to do is we're just going to see how it goes. Look at this lady crossing the street on the phone, so engrossed in the phone that she can't. What a jackass. Let's open it up a little bit. So we're going to work our way to Banham Canyon, so we should probably head over to the highway here. So this car is pretty nice. 450 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque, so it should be pretty, it's probably going to be pretty drifty. Rear-wheel drive, you know, Vipers. They're a little bit heavy, around 3,500 pounds. 0 to 60 is really quick, so a lot of people kind of realized, you know, the Vipers when they first started to come out and everything, people weren't, they didn't take corners very well. People were saying they're just straight line machines, drag machines, pretty much. And this is those years where they haven't quite changed that yet. They did eventually change it in the new Vipers. You know, they're a lot more handle. This light is ridiculous. I'm going to try to be as legit as possible, but not when we to both directions. Why would there be one green light in that direction? Okay, good. Oh, God. The city traffic is terrible. We're getting around this mess. We're going to get on the freeway if we can. Well, I don't know if we can there, actually. We're going to go the opposite direction if we get on there. We need to make a left. It doesn't want to corner as much as I would think. It's very... I mean, taking that left-hand turn, I was full lock, and it really didn't seem very turnable. I don't know. We'll see. Didn't seem like it wanted to handle very, very well. Gonna squeeze by here. I know, not legit, but sorry, the city traffic is just too bad. All right, let's open it up on the highway here. That speedometer is relatively... we're gonna do some non-legit stuff. That speedometer is relatively close to what it says on the interior cockpit, so take that for what you wish. If you know how close the... Oop, I'm gonna grab somebody's purse, none of my business. So if you know how close the interior cockpit one is, take it with a grain of salt, that this one's about the same, so... Also, I do apologize if you see some random jump cuts. I'm still, for some reason today, my allergies have got really bad. I was getting a lot better, and then today, for some reason, it's just really bad. Lots of pollen in the air, I guess. I don't really know, but I have to stop and blow my nose and sneeze and do all that non-legit allergy stuff. So I do apologize if there's just kind of random cuts in between. I'm trying to work around it. Still want to bring you guys a test drive video, but allergies are going crazy right now. All right, we have worked our way to Banham Canyon. Now it's time to see how this thing handles on a twisty road. I don't know what kind of speed we're going to be able to maintain or what kind of cornering we're going to be able to maintain, but this is the start of the road here. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. See what kind of performance this thing does handling-wise. I wasn't very impressed in the little bit of time I had to drive it through the city and on the freeway there. At top speed, it just doesn't seem like it wants to steer. It's very... oh, it's hard to change direction. You can feel the weight. It's very heavy. It's not the greatest turning. The BMW was a lot better at changing the direction of the weight. We have a section up here. Well, all these sections really are going to be about changing weight. This road is shut down, so we don't have to worry about going oncoming lanes or anything. Holding up about 80 miles an hour, 65, somewhere around there. Pretty quick. The car grips very well. I thought it would be a lot more drifty than it is. I feel like it would drift a lot more, but it's just not. It seems to grip very well. I can full throttle the gas pedal as well. It doesn't feel out of control. Doesn't feel crazy. Feels very tame, but powerful and fast. It grips. It really grips. I'm not sure why it's gripping as much as it is. I honestly thought this thing was going to drift like crazy. But it's gripping very well. Handling these corners, not bad at all. Can really keep the speed up, too. It's not as fast as I would think it is, too. With the amount of horsepower that it has, I think that weight is one thing that's really drawn it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do first person. Some people were asking to drive around in first person, so I'm going to try to do that. We're going to go down this road again, first person this time, which should be a little more of an immersive experience. But yeah, I'm honestly surprised. This car is taking me for a turn here. It's for a curve. It's a lot more grippy than I thought it would be. Ooh, God, the interior is... I'm not sure why the interior is red. I don't really like it. The red steering wheel. Wouldn't drive a car with red interior, especially as bright as red as this. But it grips. It grips. This is a hard corner. This one comes up over a little bump here. Most cars spin out. And the Viper is just like all the others. That's just a very difficult corner. Oh, God, I'm not paying attention. That's bad. Yeah, that's a very difficult corner for every car. But look, it kind of slides into the corner. You let off. I don't really need to use the brake. You kind of just let off the gas. It starts to turn in. And back on the gas. We're going to have to use brakes on some of these. These are getting pretty sharp. But for the most part, it's not bad. It's actually really nice. It doesn't drift around. It feels like you have... If I were to guess, I would say that this car wouldn't be in some sort of like sport mode or something like that. It feels like it has some sort of traction control on, because it just doesn't want to drift. It doesn't want to go sideways. And I'm giving it full gas coming out of corners and a lot of stuff like that. And it gets getting a little bit loose, but for the most part, what I thought this Viper would be, pretty much a very drifty car. I don't know. It seems very tame, very mild. It's not very, it's not too much to handle on this road, actually. It's actually really nice to drive. So I would say, compared to the BMW, they both have their benefits and their doubts. This car is a lot harder to change direction, and I know I'm comparing a Viper to a BMW. The only reason I'm doing that is because it's the only other car that I've driven, but this car seems very difficult to change direction, seems very heavy, but it seems to be a little more planted. I was having some more traction problems with the BMW, which is very strange. I would thought this car would slide around all over the place, but it's managed to hold itself to the track, which is very strange. But the next step now is we are going to see what kind of speed we can get this thing up to. Alright, so we want to see how fast we can get this car up to. It should be relatively quick, but it does weigh quite a bit. So we're going to see what kind of top speed we can get up to. The BMW was 155, and I know I shouldn't be comparing a BMW and a Viper, but like I said, it's the only other car that I've driven on this series. So as of right now, it's pretty much a comparison between the two, and then eventually when I do the third car, it'll be between 3, 4, 5, you know, so on, so on, so on. So as of right now, it's only a comparison between the Viper and the BMW, but clearly two different types of cars, two different good sides and downsides, but the BMW was able to get up to 155 miles an hour. I don't know if this is going to be able to beat it, to be 100% honest with you. It doesn't feel like it has the speed there. It feels like, I mean, it says it has a lot of power. It just doesn't feel like it's putting that power down. But it opens up to a 2-lane here. Oh, no, you don't, Sultan. This is us. 120 seems to be kind of where it's trying to maneuver myself through traffic here without killing people. Trying to be somewhat legit. I'm still driving terribly, but I don't want to be splitting lanes and nonsense like that. If I can get around people, I will. Come on, RV. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to break that 120. I think 120 is going to be the max on this. It's going to be hard to tell because we're constantly having to slow down for all these people. Jesus. Too many people on the roads. We're just going to pass this guy on the right. Doesn't matter. He's on a moped. There we go. 6th gear. Final gear. Only a 6-speed. 120. Don't think we're going to get higher than 120. Seems like we're maxing out. Yep. 120. I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to be the top speed there. Interesting. I would have bet any amount of money if someone were to come up to me and say, there's a 2010 BMW E92 M3, and there's a 1999 Dodge Viper GTS ACR. Which one do you think would be faster? I would probably put my money on the Viper. That's just me. So yeah, this car's fast, handles very nice. I really like it. It's very controllable. It has a good amount of power. Doesn't have the greatest top end, but I think for general driving, it's going to be a very nice car. So I'm interested in seeing what kind of time it puts down at the track. So we're going to work our way towards the airport. Once we get there, we'll go ahead and we'll put down 2 timed laps, and we'll see how it compares against the BMW. Alright, so here we are at the test track. So we're going to do 2 laps. We will come to a complete stop after we complete the first lap, and then we'll start a second one, so that way we don't have a run up for lap number 2. And we will compare the times between this and the BMW. I think the BMW was a 43-second lap, so we're going to see if we can beat it in the Viper. I don't know. We'll see. This car doesn't seem to be as fast, but it does seem to handle a lot better. So let's go ahead and try to give it a shot. So we'll go. All right. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull off in this thing. Let's see how grippy it's going to be. First turn is a very sharp left. Seems to grip. It doesn't want to... You can go full throttle, but then it also doesn't seem to want to turn. Had to let off a little bit there. Full throttle. See, coming on to full throttle, coming out of a corner, doesn't really have a problem with it. Kind of just grips and sticks. It doesn't seem to be as quick, though. Definitely doesn't seem to fly through the gears like the BMW did. The BMW really flew through the gears. There. All right, 1 lap done. But what the BMW could have the advantage is that dual clutch transmission compared to this manual 6-speed in the Viper. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know the times of these laps. These are things that I learn pretty much in editing. That's when I put the timer up and everything. So I honestly don't know how fast that was. I don't know if we beat the BMW or if we lost. But we have another lap to give it a shot. So let's go ahead and try. Lap number 2. We'll go ahead and do the same. This one we kind of took a little slow. We didn't need to take as slow. So just come around. Get that back end around and gas. That was a lot better of a turn. Little moments of having to lift off. Oh god, a plane's coming in. Oh god, a plane. Oh god, a plane. Oh god, this is a dangerous track. This is very dangerous. On an active runway. Good god. One last sweeping corner before the straight. And we'll see what kind of time we post up for this car. And then we'll see where it sits in the leaderboards. And there. So, as you can see, the BMW still came out on top over the Dodge Viper with a 43 second. The Dodge Viper did a fastest lap time of 49 seconds. The Viper did feel a little bit better going through the corners, but it did not appear to have the same speed as the BMW, which is, I think, why the BMW came out on top. But overall, really nice car. Really enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and end this episode of Test Drive here, but remember to check the description for all the mods I'm using. Also, go check out that 25 car pack that I've installed. If you want me to use one of those cars, go look at that link. Go look at the cars available and please suggest one of them. If you see somebody else suggesting one of the 25 cars in that pack that you want to also see, remember to upvote it. It's easier for me to see. And if you would like to see this series continue and if you would like to see it more regularly, please remember to hit the like button. It's the easiest way to tell me that you enjoy this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.